The view from where we sit is gorgeous, even if we don't fit inside your little portrait. The big picture is enormous, so we don't even have to fit. We after it, true purpose, yeah, we have to get. We mastered it, reporting it live from Black Pew, discussing politics, the culture, and laughing at you. Cause you don't understand the viewpoint, don't mean you up by a few points. You just ain't hip to these new joints we on. The world says to follow they pitch, we set the tone, then we knock it over the fence. Oh yes, it's gone. Them haters screaming loud from the bench. They get the bat and try to copy technique, but they miss the point that I mentioned earlier. I see that you observing the way I strangle this beat. Oh yeah, I'm a murderer. Enough of me, let's get back to this gorgeous view. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Welcome to the Black Pew.
The Lord said, sprinkle me, little name. A Black Pew podcast. Clearly in here, it is super hot. This, I think this is the light. I'm gonna have to turn off the light.
No, it's
I don't know. I don't think it's that light. I really don't think it's that
I
light.
think it's just the heat busting
I
through.
just think Sunday's the Lord's day. And Satan's trying to get to us.
It's like,
It's becoming the hottest day of the week,
Yeah,
Sunday.
like yesterday wasn't too bad. It's
Nah,
like-
but Sunday be blazing.
but early in the day too, it's like, oh, it's not too bad. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a good day. As soon as 1 o'clock hit, that sun like, let's go, fire.
I felt bad too because I didn't even do my grunt work. Trey told me to come turn on the AC. Yesterday.
No, it was fine.
I was like,
No.
I was sitting here like, I know it's hot. I got my car set. Oh, it's hot as fire. I know it's hot as fire in that room.
No, it wasn't too bad when I got in here. It wasn't too bad. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. We'd be running the AC now if it wasn't loud on the if we couldn't hear it on the mics. The building they don't got AC, so it's like
That's rough.
I know. We got a special guest in here. State your name, sir.
Yes. My name is Deland Wilson, better known as Jazz Digger.
That's right.
Rocking with the Black Pew Crew.
That's right.
Love it. Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate that.
No problem. And
And Alicia back in
Where
the
is
building.
Ron?
she is back. Alicia's back.
We put out an amber alert.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
We put out a silver
Silver
alert.
Alicia,
Hey, guess who showed up?
Is that because I'm
Guess who showed up?
the senior in the crew?
Somebody called me and was like, my mother has drove it off, and I ain't seen her car in a week. We put out silver alert. Alicia showed up.
Whatever.
What's up?
Good to see you.
Whatever.
Welcome back.
It's good to just be back chilling for a second.
It's good to have you back for a second.
Just for a
It
second.
has an A on it. What's it for?
Alicia.
I was
Oh,
just
it's
gonna say,
nice.
really fast.
Good
I
job,
thought
Trey.
it was just the beginning of the alphabet.
You
I thought
know,
just being
she's
smart.
the alpha and the omega.
That's just being smart.
You thought it was being so. I'm gonna let you slide for a second. Until I
I ain't seen
you
in a
know,
while.
give.
You gotta give me a little bit.
I try to give you one or two. I try to give you one or two. You're not gonna get that many for free. I'm not gonna be that kind. I'm not gonna be that kind.
All right, I'm done.
Yeah. Okay. How have you guys been doing? What's been going on?
Chilling like a villain on the pew.
What did
Nah,
do
man.
on the pew?
Y'all been, everybody watching the news? Watching the news?
Why would we do that?
Talking about
Life is hard enough. What? We don't need to be watching
you
this.
talking about dude saying nigger at the
That was
Oh.
that
Who said
was
what?
hilarious.
Wait.
Like
Refresh.
It was
Yeah.
in
Councilman.
Alabama. Yeah, a councilman in this town in Alabama. He, in copying, because he was like
he was copying some.
he
Well,
was saying somebody else said this to this other councilman.
somebody called this black lady a house nigga,
Mm-hmm.
and so he was like
He
was addressing.
he was repeating.
He repeated.
But he
it.
was hyped to repeat.
Yeah,
I think that was.
He
You
was-
remember? Y'all remember the Kevin Hart joke where he's like, his mama said he could
Yeah.
cuss at school. It was
Yeah,
like one of the.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
like that moment. He was like, "Oh, this is my opportunity."
Oh, my-
And this is what got me, is because he said it in the council meeting,
Yeah.
but when he addressed it afterwards, he did not say it. He said N-word. So I knew he was waiting for the moment. He was like, "Hey,
hyped.
He was
niggas
hyped.
here." And I said,
he was hype, and then they asked him, "Are you a racist?" He said, depends on what definition. He said, if you go by the new definition everybody says, then no, I'm not. But if you go by the old definition and yada yada yada, I'm really not. And you're just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have just been a good no.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
racist.
Well, conservatives, it's that cancel culture thing. Like they're so they're targeting cancel cultures, like, so they feel like, and I think, like, I'm gonna be fair. Freedom of speech is at attack at an all-time high. Let's be honest. Like, people's opinions no longer are their opinions. You can, how you feel and what you say can affect you if you voice it to the masses. Like, you talk about sexuality, you talk about, race, anything. If somebody takes it and feels offended, now society can say, "Oh," and pat you on the butt, and then wave a finger at those who said it. And it's like, people still have a freedom of opinion, a freedom of speech, and they have the right to their opinion, unless my opinion does not oppose any actual harm to you. And that's what I think when we get into, like, suicides and people not being able to live with themselves. That's what I think we're trying to save people from. But I'm a victim blamer to a certain extent. I don't believe you can save people from stupidity, and I think culture is starting to do that a lot more.
Well, I don't think that people realize that all of that stuff is based on feelings. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really harming anybody to say anything, but how someone else feels about it. Are we really doing anything different than it's been in the last 30, 40, 50 years? The same stuff is being said. Same stuff is being repeated. Yeah, it's just like now in the last 3 to 4, 5 years, cancel culture and being woke, you know what I mean, like, has become the trend. Now it's like, oh, he said he can't say that, and canceled.
Yeah, and I think also you can have some people can have genuine consequences for their speech, and then you can but then there's also some people can be targeted by the internet to be fired or to be held accountable, like over accountable for what they've done. Like, people go back in like 10 years and be like, hey, they should pay for what they said back then. It's like, wait, I already got in trouble for that back then. Like, y'all trying to bring up and try to cancel. I think that's the problem with, like, the term cancel culture. Yeah, is that they try to rehash old things. Yeah, and
well, it was built, and a lot of people don't understand this. It was built off of reverse discrimination, and so Black people were very outspoken because our history in America, when it comes to racism, bigotry, prejudice, and all those things, we start to speak out more when you see those things mainstream, or people were getting exposed of their actual personal beliefs when they were trying to show something else on the mainstream. And since that was happening, now you have this reverse discrimination campaign, which I believe brought up cancel culture, because all the subjects have nothing to do with actually the black race, but everything else, sexuality. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that you could really think about that they try to now they're trying to attack with cancel culture is now critical race theory for some reason. Yeah. But they always try to use cancel culture as a reason why they can't speak freely or anything of that nature, and that they're being apolitical because if they say anything, the boogeyman is going to come get them and end their career.
Yeah. But I think also some people are just scared. Some people just have just dumb thoughts, and they don't think before they speak, and they don't want somebody to later on say, hey, that was wrong. I think eventually a lot of what people said, like what we think like now, some of the stuff that we thought 15 years ago, like, we'd be like crazy, like, man, you thought that?
Yeah, but correction shouldn't get you canceled.
And that's the thing. I think that's the balance. Like, okay, like, there should be like, hey, I said those things at this time. There's comics do that. Like, hey, at this time this was going on. So I mean, it was okay to be like.
I don't think a comedian should ever have to apologize.
I think some do.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Like
I don't think a
it's
comedian should
comedy.
ever, and this is why, is because when you go to a comedy show, you're expecting edgy. You're expecting somebody who has a mindset that you do not have. There's a darkness, like that's what people don't, there's a darkness that goes into being a comedian. You have to look at the dark side of everything and make it funny. If you go to a comedy show and you're offended, comedy is not the thing for you. You need to pack your bags up and not go to shows anymore.
That's true, but I think there's some things. Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said that's where the problem lies. They don't want to be corrected. It does not be told. Hey, this may not be for you.
Yeah, no, that with everything, people want everything to be catered to how they want it to be.
True.
You don't. You're coming for that person's talent. It's not for you to shape how that person's talent should look. You've accepted it how they gave it to you from the get. Now it's not for you to make sure that they're politically correct or they're saying the right
but I
thing.
think
Especially for Black people. Black people history. In our history with comedy, it was created long, long ago for us to be able to tell the truth, for us to be able to have a safe way to express the injustices that we were facing, the things that we see within our community that we want to shed light to, but in a way that was softer on the ear. There's no way in the world, I think, that absolutely, by no means, African-American comedians should have to ever apologize for what's said over the mic.
But I think some things like said over mic can be offensive when you know, like it's like okay, like when Dave Chappelle, like he makes fun of LGBTQIA people, but he makes fun of them in ways that he makes fun of everyone
But
else.
that's what I'm about to say. Who doesn't he make fun of?
Exactly. But I think some people make fun of other cultures or whatnot in ways that may be funny, but aren't right. There's something.
Oh,
you can,
But see,
stop
that's what-
it.
that's
We
what-
have
exactly.
no.
But
no,
that's
you
what I'm
can be
saying.
funny. You can
We-
be funny.
But that's what
and
I'm
not
saying.
I
and
agree.
not-
I agree. But if you're going to say that, you have to back up and talk about comedians and African American women. You cannot go to, wait a second, you cannot go to straight to, there's some things you guys can't talk about that's offensive as it relates to LGBT or whatever. Comedians have talked about abortion and very, very offensive things relating to women, relationships, and especially Black women. So we're not going to start saying comedians should.
They make jokes about deaths all the time.
Death is different.
But well, I'm just saying, like the way people die, untimely deaths.
Yeah, I
and all,
understand.
They make edgy jokes and stuff. But my thing is too is you can't you attack a genre like that, they say something homophobic or whatever and cross the line. But not once nobody attacks rap music. It's like they scared of them. It's like they can say whatever they want to. They can tell your kids to go out there and sell dope.
Yeah.
They can tell y'all knock a faggot off. They can say all that and nobody says, hey, you know what? Maybe you guys shouldn't be saying this. Mm-hmm. Like they give them all rights to exercise their freedom of speech, but it's like comedians are supposed to be the soft people. So it's like we'll attack this genre right here because they'll give us more give, and they have been. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people have been giving it. I mean, until Kevin Hart did that, you know what? I'm not finna, I'm not going to do the Oscars if it's all about this. I'm not going to apologize for something I've already apologized for. Until he did that and took a stance on that, they tried to punk comedians all the time.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
But there are some cases, though. I mean, like when Kramer said what he said.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
the
the difference was he said what he said, but people were already feeling a certain type of way about white people using the N-word.
But it also wasn't just a joke. His was partly a rant.
But that's
my
point. Yeah. Him being a comedian, he still had to.
No, I'm talking about as far as your material wise, like the material you come up with. I'll tell you like this. There is a very famous country singer. His name is David Allen Coe. Very country. Very underrated, but very, very, very Southern in it. And I'm talking about, you talking about black country artists, he name dropped down, mad respect. But if you listen to his music, drop the N-bomb like it was it's just the way he was. but he was highly respected. The thing is people are going to accept you sometimes for who you are. If you making fun of everybody, then people understand that it's not a slight.
Right.
But like Kendra was saying, sometimes we get into these things to where it's like, oh, that was a little offensive to me. Your whole set might not be offensive, but that one thing was offensive to me. Now I feel like I need to interject and make you feel aware of that, so you change it to cater to me. So we're getting to the point to where we're telling people that you have to change your whole craft to cater to this one area. So when they do that, guess what? Then this area is going to be, well, you need to cater to us. And when they do, and then what type of originality or creativity do we have anymore?
Right. No,
it's now taking away your entire talent.
Exactly.
But I think also you can be funny in different ways too. Like there's a lot of comics who have said, okay, I won't talk about that anymore, but I still have this lane.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like,
they've been like, okay, I won't talk about that because I might offend someone who I care about, or I might offend some people. And I think some people do it because they're like, hey, it's a check on this side, and I don't want to burn any bridges. I don't want to burn or start to light a bridge that might pay me money. Money is a part of it.
Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, D-Ray, all these people are popular by saying things that people think but are afraid to say. That's what Bernie, DL, Earthquake. We can go for days. Bruce. I mean, you could go for days. These people made a living off of saying things that people were afraid to say. That's what the essence of comedy is. That's why it's funny. The only reason why people don't laugh just because it's funny. People laugh because they relate to the situations.
True.
To where it's like, man, like when you hear somebody like, man, I'd have thought like that. I seen a situation like that. Or man, that's what makes it even funnier. So when you take away that, because the situation you may talk about may offend me, like the Kevin Hart joke. Talking about if his son was gay, he wouldn't buy him no dollhouse. He'd break it over his head or something like that. I mean, it was a joke.
True.
10 years ago, when probably half the country, or more than 70-some% of the country, all thought the same thing.
Yeah. But Bernie even said he would not have made that same joke today. Not saying.
He said, you mean Kevin?
I'm sorry, Bernie, when he was alive, he had said, hey, the joke about the milk and cookies.
Yeah.
He would not have made that joke in the time before he died. He said he wouldn't have done that because of the climate and because of what was going on. Because he said, hey, I might offend some people who might be fans of mine,
or you might offend a network because you got a TV show at that time. See, this is what I'm saying. Like the things are a lot of times it's politically correct to say certain things because we all seen Charlie Sheen get ostracized by going against his network. So you at certain points you have to say what's in the best interest of your career. But I mean, it's not like he didn't say I wouldn't have did that school bus skit. That's just as bad. That's worse than milk and cookies. My name. I mean, he teasing me with the school bus driver and the little boy getting left. Like that's just as disrespect. That's more disrespectful than milk and cookies. But that's not mentioned. For some fact is nobody's saying that because it was hilarious.
Yeah,
and that's the only thing. Milk and cookies was hilarious.
Yeah,
it was. To this day, it's still. And he built the Bernie Mac show all off of milk and cookies and that whole skit.
Yeah, and the boy. Well, that was funny because the boy really.
He was feminine. Yeah, he was kind of feminine. He wasn't a homosexual, but he was like metrosexual or something.
Right.
And I don't think Kevin Hart would have got that much backlash for his little skit had he been white.
Oh, I think that's a whole.
Because they just portray black people as violent. So,
but if it was a skit on Dave Chappelle's show, it would have flew. Nobody would have said anything. Yeah. If it was a gay kid and he would have hit him over the head with a dollhouse, they would have just, that was hilarious.
Yeah. But a big question is, do you abandon your stance to fit the climate?
No.
Or do you stand on that regardless of the climate?
I think
that one.
I think it shows a lot of who you are when you're firm in what you believe in. to where just because somebody else has a different opinion, they can't shake you from what your foundation is. And I think what cancel culture is they attacked the money. So people started to say, you know what, can't. You know what? Yeah, Black Lives Matter. We start hearing people say all lives matter and get fired. You like, ooh, can't say that. All right, Black Lives Matter. You know, hashtag BLM. You know, I mean, you see in Juneteenth they had IKEA. They had the whole the watermelon and chicken and all that, you know, to try to celebrate for their employees or whatever. And then somebody said something about it, and it was like, okay, well, let's get rid of whoever made that mistake, and that doesn't reflect who we are, you know, and we finna talk to our employees and figure out, and I still get mad at niggas for this because the niggas came up with the same exact menu that the white folks came up with. It wasn't even like they made any changes or anything like that. They got mad about the menu and was like, well, we want the same thing. We was just mad that you said it. We was mad y'all said that's what we wanted. We want the same thing, but...
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let me order that.
Can we switch and talk about? I'm tired of Kanye.
Oh God.
I'm tired of Kanye. I celebrate his.
I don't know, man. You know what?
Talent. I celebrate his talent.
The Lord said you gonna be a peculiar type of monster, and I don't know. Sometimes Kanye be speaking some real, but I mean, he do. I mean, he has his episodes, and he obviously got some mental issues. But sometimes Kanye be speaking some real. Kanye's on his even kill. Kanye be speaking some real stuff. He got a lot of interviews.
I think he's a genius as far as the music goes, but the spectacle, I'm like, okay, you get a full stadium, and you the only one on stage. You the only one in the whole field, and I'm like,
he's Kanye, bro. Like, just think about it. A young dude from Chicago didn't even know if he was gonna make it. Then he finally break through. His first real big hit, he made it with his jaw wire shut. Yeah. You know, I mean, he go from there. You become an icon. You got your own shoe, clothing line. People are still talking about the Taylor Swift moment. Your mother dies. You have all these things going on. And I just feel like what a lot of people don't understand is Kanye is a brother that's lost in the world, and he's rich, you know. And so I think when he did the Kardashian thing, I think he was looking for a sense of family. Yeah. And it was so chaotic that he was like, and it took him. Oh, see, some of us have our mental health, like we're on the brink of breaking, and I believe that the Kardashians broke Kanye, and that's when you start to see like. Even when he snapped, in Taylor Swift moment when he snapped, you was kind of like, well, you know, he does make sense, you feel me? But when he started snapping with the Kardashians, you was like, you know, my man's wilding right now. He got some mental problems. He needs help.
Yeah. I mean, he was drunk with the Taylor Swift, so that's a given. But the Kardashian thing, I think he had the different mindset, thinking he was coming into a big family. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And once he got in there, saw that they was all individuals doing their own individual thing. And the only time they get together on some family stuff is for money. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that was a whole mind-opening, you know what I'm saying, thing to him. Aside from that, you know, he's an only child. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he was grasping at straws. Lost in the world, and so he's like, he saw, you know, Rockefeller was supposed to be the family, then they broke up.
Then him and Jay beefing, you know.
Yeah, so he was grasping. Now, I definitely agree with you. He do got jewels. Yeah. He's a gifted genius to an extent, but he's super scattered.
Yeah. But what genius wasn't?
True.
True. And that's what I'm saying. We look at it, and we got all these geniuses that we look up to, philosophers, and we look up to these, musicians and all this, and all these people. Their outside life of this talent that they gave us was chaotic.
Super.
You know?
Yeah.
And so we always, because he's Kanye, we focus on every aspect of his life. Mm-hmm. And so that's the difference between. I mean, we're not the camera ain't following me down the street saying, oh, I just seen Marvin walk by this homeless dude and spit on the ground afterwards or something like that, and then and the whole world judging me by that.
Right.
But that goes to the dysfunction that they've created. Sitting here talking about, we have enough things going on in our own lives that literally we've over the past 20 years, reality TV has exposed us to celebrities when they were able to just previously do their craft. And maybe they would put a newspaper article out or a TV show on something that they had done significant, but we weren't into their business. We didn't need to know their business. They were doing their own thing. They were all drug addicts. They were all heroin addicts, crackheads. All of the above. But they were able to provide us great music because we were out of their way. And now we want to know everything about their lives. Reality TV only works. We only know about Kanye because we're watching it, and that precludes, of course, more money, more sponsorship, more market. And so it's really us. We're the goats that are feeding, and we're harassing people's lives. We want to know everything. You can't even get a divorce now without everybody and their mama being in your business.
I do think, honestly, I honestly believe that regardless of the situation, we were always going to get this type of Kanye. Now, to the extent, the mental side of it, I can't say that.
We're still talking about it.
But no, that's what I'm saying. I do.
You're crazy.
What I'm saying is he is a very flamboyant person. So as the internet exploded, social media, it's inevitable that Kanye was going to be this type of guy.
But that's what I'm saying for all of them.
I'm not even talking about the Kardashians. I don't even watch.
No, I'm not talking about Kardashians. I'm saying all of our rappers. But you talk about even Lamar.
But that's what I'm saying.
Made him psycho too.
I agree with the fact that we are too tapped into their everyday lives. So that's why we have a conversation of why are we tired of Kanye or not? Because you watch every aspect of his life. You don't just get it from the artistic view like you used to get it. You've seen the videos and maybe kind of interview.
But that asks the question, why do we, why are we so immersed as a culture? Why are we so immersed in reality TV? And we have we have some of the lowest, of everything, family race, education race, all that. But but
everybody feels like their opinion is valued. So because you feel like your opinion is valued, you tap into these sort of things because these are valued conversations. So while everybody may be, focused on what's going on at home, the world is talking about what's going on right here. And because of social media, or whatever the situation may be, if it be Kanye or the Kardashians or whatever, there's the councilman saying the N-word. And the thing is when social media became hot, you made overnight stars. Mm-hmm. If you were able to give a take on a situation that popped, that was your way to stardom. And so I think that's what people are looking for by always being in tune with these topics, because when you're in tune with these topics, maybe you may be the one to give the take to change your life. And so I think we focus on what people are focusing on, and a lot of times people their focus is on self. What can I do to stand out from the next person? That's why if you look at comments online, they're absurd.
I always wonder that.
People say the most absurd thing because everybody's trying to stand out from the next person. Because if I stand out, maybe it may change my life.
See, but that's so unfortunate because everyone can't stand out, obviously. Then we're not standing out, obviously. We're not peculiar.
But social media is a hyper beast that created that. That heightened your probability of that.
It's almost like the NBA for young boys in the 90s.
Yeah, everybody wants to heighten their probability. If you go into a casino and they're telling you the odds of winning are higher than the next casino, you're gonna go there. Yeah. And so if social media is telling you your chances of becoming a star are higher than it's ever been in the past 100 years, everybody's finna be tapped in.
That's why you can take
pictures
on Instagram. That's why Instagram pop, because there's a chance that, and people know a creator or two with 20,000 followers and 2 brand deals, or people know somebody with 100,000 followers and 3 brand deals.
I just got followed by somebody with 300 and some followers high school basketball player is supposed to be going pro, top prospect. I was like, dang, he just followed me out of nowhere. I was like, hey, what's up with it? I don't know why.
See, I don't even know who follows me. Oh my God.
Kanye don't have to be going psycho in order to be seen, because it's proven. All of these YouTubers and TikTokers and
well, he don't have nobody. I just don't think he got good people in his corner.
Any guidance.
And so
he's guidance, but I wouldn't call him a genius.
Oh, well, I know Kanye. I'll tell you. I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now.
Not call him a genius.
I'll tell you right now. A lot. When you look at music.
He's a musical
there's
genius.
A lot of things.
Okay,
hold on. There's a lot of things that a lot of people would never know.
Or
Kanye hands was on all that.
He's an amazing producer.
But see the thing is,
but
with nobody around, we're talking about he got nobody around him. We're talking about he got nobody around him for guidance. We're talking about Kanye right now. We're talking about a dude who got multiple shoes, who got his own who got platinum albums, all that. We're talking about we're talking about somebody who doesn't have a circle around him. So there takes some sort of genius to get to that. It takes nothing to lose. But it takes some sort of genius to get to that plateau on your own.
He didn't get anywhere on his own.
I mean, I get you. That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
people help you get a record deal here, you get it. But your drive is your drive.
That's all of us, though.
And the thing is what people don't understand about Kanye is before the money, before the glitz and glamour, before all that, his drive, the reason why we know how a lot of this music was built off of Kanye drive before the money, before any of that.
That's
he's
obvious.
Self-made in the industry, regardless on who you see him attached to.
Obvious.
He put down the groundwork, and people knew who he was before we even heard a glimpse of his name, or even had an idea of what he could do. He already had foundations in the music industry.
Yeah, he was bubbling before Rockefeller.
Yeah, way before.
Not only that, but once he actually popped, that was because they took a chance on him.
Yeah.
If they didn't, Kanye would have still found it.
He would have found it,
and he still would have became what he was today. So it was like
I don't know about that.
No, the reason I say that,
the reason I say that, you talk about Dr. Dre.
Think about this.
Kanye,
Jay-Z, and all the people who he was rocking with, they took their hands off him, which means if he would have signed with Def Jam by themselves, or if he would have signed with Puff, and Puff would have said, "Oh man, you crazy, I gotta let you go," but Kanye would have still been Kanye. Yeah. Like no matter what, he done had Puff, Jay, all them in his ear on some, yo, you need to, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? And then when everybody's on his head, he's like, yo, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go into Colorado. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he distanced himself, and he was still even more weird. You see what I'm saying? So he would have been this regardless. It's just that he did not have a circle. His mom died. He didn't properly grieve. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have nobody, in a sense, kind of like checking on him like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the money brings a lot of fake people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it was. And he's not a street dude.
Let's not be real. He's not a street dude. Kanye ain't like a nerd. You know, he's not a street dude. So you get all this and all that coming, and you don't have people to help you. Like, it's like a lot of people understand. You get to a point to where you stunt your maturity, like your growth, like you get to a point where you're just stuck, and all he just knows how to do is create. But how to operate all this, he has no idea. You know, and so his only idea is to make enough money to overcome his shortcomings. Like, and so he just creates, have all these different outcomes. So you can't say nothing about him, and his name will never die, and his money revenue will never die. But there's still another level Kanye can go to, but he don't have somebody in his. If you had a Russell Simmons or somebody like that can coach him and be like, you could be a mogul in the rap game. You could be a mogul in fashion. This is what you need to concentrate on. And somebody tell him you need to get help. Maybe he needs to get on meds or something like that. Whatever it may be, but he needs a regimen. He needs good people in his life. He can't do this by himself.
Well, in what sense do you think Kanye's coachable?
Now? I think now, like what it would take, I mean, he's obviously in a sense humbled himself to the faith, right? That was a big step. was him humbling himself to the faith. Now, it's like even there he needs guidance.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But but how many people is gonna?
But that's the problem. That's the
I was
problem.
gonna say.
Who's gonna step up and be like, yo, I don't need the cameras to know. I don't need whatever to know. I'm here to check on you, bro.
Which
see,
is
that's
why
what-
I feel like
Yeah, I wouldn't
Kanye's
know that
always
hasn't
like
done.
that, because he doesn't feel like, or I feel like he thinks, well, what do I have to lose? So he takes the ultimate risk in all his reactions and actions and whatever else he's doing. Like,
But sometimes it takes the
It's
people
just
you.
super risky.
Sometimes it takes.
I agree that he
But
does
sometimes
do
it
that.
takes the people you respect. Like let's talk about mental health. You're having a therapist, things of that nature. Like, if the person that you look up to in your life isn't coming to you and saying, "Hey, check this out. I do this too. This is something that helps me keep me
who's to say
grounded."
he
And
doesn't though.
I'm not saying, but I'm gonna tell you something right now.
He's on
They say
meds.
you could judge it.
He's on meds.
But obviously he has a problem, because you can judge a tree by the fruit it produces, and those meltdowns that he was having, you could tell he was off his meds.
So who's
He
to
was
say-
doing so if he's off his meds, he's doing those type of things. That means that he does not have somebody in his life that he respects enough to keep that going. I'll
It
tell you
doesn't
right,
mean that.
No,
Because I mean, you saw the choice.
I know. I have a situation that and this is probably, some people could say it's different, but I knew this guy and he had a crack addiction, but hardcore crack addiction in the church. Woo woo boom. He's finagling all of us in the church. We'd be helping him out, money here. Woo woo boom. I gotta get something out. Woo woo or whatever. We helping him. Da da da. He's smoking it up. Yeah, whatever. He go take a trip to California to go be with his sisters. The whole time he was with them, and we was there for maybe about a year. Not once did he use. He came back clean. He was in a clear mind. So we asked him. I was like, hey, you be finagling all of us, using all our money, go smoking it up. You go over there with your sisters and you get it together. He said, it's because I respect them. And I didn't at first I didn't take it as a slight, 'cause I'm like, oh shit, I didn't take it as, oh, you don't respect me. Mm-hmm. But I got it to the point to where when you value the opinion of somebody, if they tell you, hey, I invest in myself this way, you're going to at least weigh the options in. See, right now, Kanye don't have people that he don't feel like he can trust anybody. So if you tell him something, he's probably like, you know what? Forget what anybody else said. I'm gonna keep doing it the way that I've been doing it, because that's how I got here.
Yeah.
But if somebody says, hey, Kanye, chase out. If somebody you respect, hey, which we all know that was pretty much his mother. That's who kept him in line a lot of the time. So if there's nobody to say, hey, Kanye, chase out, I'm successful too. I'm your friend. You respect me. Woo, woo, woo. And maybe even go so vulnerable to take them to one of their sessions and say, this is who and this is how, just to let them know I have things in my dirty closet too. Because a lot of times when you're at these levels, people aren't sharing with you the dirty, dark secrets and how they got there, or when they didn't feel like they was gonna make it. You only see the finished product. So when you're around this, you're only looking at the finished product and people trying to protect their egos and their reputation by hiding all their dirty, dark secrets.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
That's fair. But I still he need to go sit down somewhere.
Go sit on the key.
I heard his new album finna be fire though.
I wouldn't have gone. I wouldn't have
I heard
gone.
it's gonna
I
be
wouldn't have
fire.
gone there for them not to play the album. Like for
did
them
you
not.
hear it?
No, I was watching everybody's stories and stuff.
Oh.
He barely played any of the album.
Oh, I thought that he played the whole thing from
I
the
don't
back.
that's what some people were saying. He didn't play the whole album.
Hey, well, I'm
Or-
gonna say this on record. After Kanye's third album,
You talking about the graduation?
Graduation, he has not been the same.
Heartbreaker 808.
Now, after soon as Heartbreak came, it was a whole. That's why they created the whole "I miss the old Kanye."
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Because
yeah.
it's like prior to that, and it's cool
'Cause there's
to,
a
in a
golf.
sense, kind of
Yeah.
evolve with the times and all of that. That's cool, but I feel like once you lose that soul, like that's right. You know what I'm saying?
But is that the like?
Is it the case?
When
He
you
was
talk
out of
about
college.
some
That
people,
is true.
when you talk about some people, like It's crazy that we're having this conversation. I was just watching this interview of this battle rap guy. He's like, people only identify you with what they know you as. So we identify Kanye as a rapper because that's what we were introduced to him as. But before Kanye was a rapper, he was a beat maker, producer.
Right.
I mean, Kanye's bigger than rap. He's music.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you look at the type of music he does, the rapping made him big. But he got to a certain point where he was so big in his career to where when you looked at 808 Heartbreak, T-Pain did an interview about him doing 808 Heartbreak. And that was it was supposed to be like album, like a love story.
Yeah.
But a love story with banging hits on it, because that's pretty much what rapper turned singer was. And so that's what the idea of 808 Heartbreak was. They just didn't have that idea of the auto-tune yet. And nobody really perfected auto-tune but T-Pain. And so that was the chink in that armor. But I just think that he was just trying to be.
It was bad.
No, it was bad. No, I think it was bad because he went in a direction that he didn't understand. But I do believe that if he didn't go in that direction, he could have made something of 808 because he's bigger than the type of musician.
I agree, because at his core, he's a deep thinker.
Definitely.
And he says a lot of stuff that people want to say, but they don't say it. He says it in a clever way. So I'll never take away from his talent. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like, when you're like, okay, I think that he was a trailblazer. When him and Just Blaze came on kind of at the same time, you know what I'm saying? He created that lane, and all he had to do was, in a sense, ride that lane. Now, what made Kanye initially stand out was because he had created that, and it didn't sound like nothing that was popping at the time.
Yeah,
definitely.
But then after 808 came out, now Kanye stuff, you could play a Kanye joint right there.
It was
like,
very commercial.
That's Metro Boomin. Or that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like that. He sounds like everybody else, and he's not doing what the initial Kanye was doing. And Kanye was just initially staying true to who he was. Yeah. So now I just feel like he's like, okay, Lil Baby's popping. So I'm rocking with Lil Baby. Oh, I got to do something that sounds just like, you know what I'm saying, something that Migos would do, but spruce it up a little bit.
And that goes back to not having people. Like when you come, this is perfect for me. I'll take myself as an example. I was an adopted kid, grew up my whole life having to figure out how to mesh in every situation that I was in. You eventually become a chameleon. You learn how to adapt to every single situation. Kanye don't have nobody. He's a chameleon of the industry. And so in order for him to stay relevant, he always shifted to what was popping.
Yo, that was probably the realest thing said today, that he is a chameleon and he becomes whomever to whoever.
Yeah.
And I think that because he's created the name, he's created the platform, like that won't ever go away.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I feel like that could be his downfall. You know what I'm saying?
But he could take that risk because he's Kanye.
He's gonna take the risk every time. But you know what I'm saying? But it's like the key right now for him is basically what we've all been saying, is he needs people around him.
He needs people around.
And that's kind of
people
the
he
bottom
trusts.
line.
People he trusts.
The bottom line. When I seen him doing them presidential runs, you know what I'm saying, and his breakdowns and all that stuff,
on stage,
he's really dealing
like,
with some stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he's just hurting.
But I felt like there was the wrong people behind him then, saying, hey, you should go. You should go and do this. And the fact that somebody was telling him to do this.
He wasn't trying to be president. Y'all know that.
And,
right? You know what's crazy though? I would have voted for homie.
I was thinking about it too.
I would have voted,
but he wasn't trying to be. He wasn't trying to be. What he was trying to do was steal the black votes in certain states.
Yeah, but think about this though. Think about this. The only reason why I was even entertaining that was because, do you really think that he would have got in office and not had our best interest at heart?
I don't know.
I mean,
man.
as a people, no.
I believe he would have.
No, I mean,
if you go to Paris,
you kind of have to.
Air Force One have been eating spaghetti under the Eiffel Tower in Paris, making some Yeezys.
Think about this. Because I think he thinks about this. I think he thinks about his mom. I think he thinks about his father. He thinks about his own children. He thinks about the climate of the black You know what I'm saying? Like people as a whole. Do you really think that he would get in office and not, in a sense, cater to where we come from? That was his whole push with him putting the red hat on. It's because he wanted to say, I'm going to stand by who's about to rock and give him the black perspective so that he's able to, in a sense, understand where we're coming from.
That's even more reason why I say nah, because when it became to politics, Kanye was a coon. I'm sorry, he was a happy nigga. And I'm telling you, any black dude that throw in that MAGA hat and think that it was, you feel me?
I don't agree
and so
with
that was
MAGA
my
hat.
thing.
I don't
now,
agree
if
with
Kanye would have ran as an independent and distanced himself from that, but he didn't. He
was doing the chameleon thing.
Well, but he was doing it on.
But that's because that's his money, friend. See that. So on that, like you're saying, that has nothing to do with music. Now he's in a different realm, tax bracket wise, money wise. See, so there's this interesting conversation about Donald Trump. You know, he was not this polarizing, dissatisfying figure to the black community until recently.
Oh yeah.
No, he was a status symbol. He was a
very status symbol.
He was a status symbol.
I mean, rappers' name dropped him. All these cats that we talking about,
kicking
it with him all the time.
Yeah,
you feel me? Like these dudes were really like riding with Donald Trump.
Yep, they were.
You know,
yep.
Some of them distanced themselves because of his political stances. Mm-hmm. But when we start to see like black people like they already had a relationship with dude. Mm-hmm. You know, so I mean, you think about how many Trump towers they probably stayed at and probably was comp presidential suites and all that, and he probably came and just think about golf tournaments they didn't been in, like all these things, and now all of a sudden we expect them to not like to be, you know, and that's what comfortable. Well, it was comfortable for Kanye because to him he like. Fuck all y'all, he at least got. I know he got my back, cause he protected my money, and so because we all know the Republicans, all the people with the money, they knew what his plan was. You get when you go in the White House and you have meetings with him. Of course, you're privy to what the mind state of the country and the direction is going. Mm-hmm. And we all seen by the moves that Trump made, he was in protecting business and the money flow of business. All the moves he made was to protect business, and I even feel like it was to protect him once he was out of presidency, so he can go into business and flourish.
Yeah, I agree there. I agree straight up and down. Yeah. People didn't realize that we didn't elect a politician; we elected a businessman. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, they were tired of the politicians, and they were like, well, he's done business, so he should be able to run this like a business, not knowing that if you're not good at business, you're like, regardless of how many times you skated contracts, how many times, like if you looked at his business track record, even true businessmen is like, don't deal with that dude. Like the countless times, like before he got into office, he had a lawsuit for $25 million because he defrauded people with Trump University, and it was people like, oh, he's such a good businessman. See how he gets out of these court cases and all this stuff. It's like, wait, like, and it's like people didn't see what was going to happen.
So should we be congratulating Dr. Umar Johnson the same way?
No, don't.
I'm just saying, you know. I'm just saying. What happened to the Frederick Douglass building and the Marcus Garvey building? You feel me?
It's still coming.
The HVAC. You
Dr.
feel me?
Umar Johnson, a.k.a. Frederick Trap Douglass.
Frederick Trap.
is on his climb up. I just need to get some money to donate to him.
Martin Leach and King.
Are any of y'all watching the Olympics?
Yeah, man. Man, for real. We've been killing it too.
Did you watch the skateboard? I was watching the
skateboard. I watched the skateboard too.
I was like, yo.
I didn't know skateboard was in the Olympics.
I didn't know it was either. It just started this year.
They should have roller skating in the Olympics.
The crate.
Hey, did they add? Didn't they add?
How should they not?
I'm not saying that they should.
They're gonna jump around and so it should be like
all of it very similar.
Like X Games ice skating.
But they would have to prove. They would have to prove. they would have to prove mastery. Like, you have to prove mastery of it.
They absolutely can.
But the skateboarding was crazy because I'm like, these dudes got on.
They got on AirPods.
They got on AirPods,
flipping up and jumping up in the air, flipping, and the AirPods didn't even come out their ear.
They got Vans and stuff on, and like it was Nike. It was Nike. It was Nike from head to toe.
Yeah. My man did the dude from America that got first place. He did the trick. He had both AirPods in. He come down, boom. He come down doing what? I'm like, okay. And they found themselves.
Oh, yes.
But it's crazy how they adapt to certain things. Like, and I'm just looking at like wow, the Olympics got some stuff that 25, 30 years ago we was seeing in neighborhoods. Like, man, they ain't gonna do nothing. Like, ain't no sport.
What sport you play? Oh, I skateboard. There ain't no sport. Playing at the park.
Well, I be thinking about it like, because there was a lot of people. I remember I had a skateboard. I had a Ninja Turtle skateboard.
Oh, snap.
And I was just like, man, I could turn this into $1 million. And then
is that why you stopped growing hair? You kept falling on your head?
That's right.
That was a far reach.
That's so horrible. That's so mean. But now I was thinking, just the sport. Like, I don't know. If I was an athlete, though, I think it's a once in a lifetime chance. But would you go, like, given the whole state of COVID, like, given everything that's going on, and
hell yeah! I mean, if you don't stay at home and be in the middle of COVID, you might as well go make a name for yourself and be in the middle of COVID. I'm just saying.
My daughter would love that. She wants to be a gymnast, so
Really?
she would die if she would tennis.
Team USA called me to come play ball right now. I'd be like, peace out. I'll leave in the middle of this show. Somebody take me to the airport.
Right now.
Right now.
Yeah, not even just to participate.
But do you
just
think
to
that,
go.
like, it depends on
I don't know if it's just to go because you ain't finna give me no money just to go. But if you don't pay me, or I'm finna get some recognition. I'm there. Let's go. I've seen there's 14-year-olds compete. I did a 14-year-old swimming.
Yeah.
They're clowning. They're clowning right now in the Olympics.
But if it was here, would you want other people coming here?
Hell no.
Nah, fam. Well, because they're coming from all over.
We Americans.
Different countries.
We Americans. We like to go other places. We don't like people coming here.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Don't
We
bring.
wanna
I
go
mean,
everywhere else. You can't come
you know
here.
what I'm saying?
We're coming to where you at.
Yeah,
You
man.
can't
I
come
mean,
here.
that's how stuff gets here. That's how stuff gets here. So
how
we
we
got
bring- this is how
other
America
countries coming in, and we don't know what they bringing.
You heard about your boy trying to get the wall off, right? You feel me? He got $30 million of wall trying to sell. He trying to sell right now. Concrete. You got a concrete wall like 18 feet tall, some all wide, thick, and
But it's
trying to sell it.